hey. I can be things that I'm not. Hello. Welcome to the Atrioc broadcast here on April 22nd, 2025. Tesla earnings call day. We'll be joining this earnings call in just a few minutes. It starts in 8 minutes, 20 seconds. Plenty of time for me to talk to you. How are you guys doing? Here, I'll put a little timer, and we'll put it at 8 minutes, 7:58, and we'll put a little text over it, and it'll say Tesla earnings in. Boom! How about that? How the hell? MKJ Hut, thank you for the 3 months. J Powell, more like JP Omega Lol W. It's not really helpful. Yo, the one who burns. Big A, I've seen lemonade stand popping in TikTok. Really? I don't think we hired a TikTok guy. Is someone just yoinking our clips? Is someone just yoinking and reposting? I don't think we've hired anyone. Unofficial. Well, all good, I guess. Free advertising, baby. Free advertising. Lil Hokey, they have the 22 months. Big A, y'all threw up my comment on the first primo of Lemonade Stand, and a coworker recognized the profile pic and sent me a Teams message about it. That's fucking crazy. Getting recognized for having your comment read in a Patreon of a podcast is crazy. Go T-Wolves. Sorry, T-Wolves Nation, but me and my father are going to the Crypt Arena today, and we're going to make sure the Lakers win. So, unfortunately, the Wolves have no chance against the combined cheering squad. Oof, have fun watching it. No, wrong. Hey, Truck, long top YouTube frog with economics degree. I thought of you while listening to a podcast from Freakonomics on the debt spending in the U.S., which I really thought you'd like. Interested in a link? Sure, I'm happy to listen to it. Unless it's like them interviewing someone who advocates for MMT and is saying, actually, there's no worries at all. The debt is just a surplus for the private sector. If it's somebody doing that, then I might tear my hair out. But I'll listen to it. What's good, everybody? What the fuck is good? Big day. Now, Tesla earnings are out in written form, but what we'll have today is them explaining them. So we shouldn't talk about it too much. We'll have them explaining them, and then Elon Musk will do a Q&A where I believe he is going to break his cardinal rule of not announcing new stuff during earnings calls. That's how code red the situation is. Code red we are in. Because the earnings, surprise, came in and they're bad. They missed on top and bottom line, really. They missed on revenue, amount of cars sold, and they also missed on earnings, which are down, I think, 71% something year over year, like actual profit taken home. So it's bad. It's bad. But to be clear, there was a lot of people buying puts going into this. It might be less bad than expected. There might be a near-term little pop, but it's bad. The trend is terrible. They also removed from their earnings. Usually they have a line about, we expect to soon return to future growth, or soon to return to growth this year. Yeah, here it is. Tesla no longer mentions expectations to return to growth. They got rid of that and said, it'll depend on a variety of factors. Which is just a weasel word. I mean, they're not even expecting growth. So it's not a great earnings release, which means Elon Musk will have to be in rare form. Elon Musk is going to have to go on this call and bring back what you might call the Elon reality distortion field. He needs to go on and make sure people associate Tesla with the future, with progress, with crazy innovations, with So we'll see what they announce. We'll see what they talk about. Some big things that might happen. Number one is he might announce that he's leaving Doge or has a plan to step down, which again would probably cause the stock to spike in the short term. A second thing he might do is really lean more into Optimus or robotaxis. You know, give some more concrete evidence on when they'll release or how they'll make money. And then I guess the third thing would be something around vehicle refreshes or ways to get that back on track. So yeah, or self-driving. So we'll see. We will see. But it's gonna be an important moment. I mean, we're the rubber is meeting the road, literally and figuratively, with Tesla. The earnings are now really bad. The car sales are really bad. The impact is severe. It's messy. It's bad. The growth story in the car is like over. So there has to be a way to get it back on track or the company will trend to nothing. I mean, it's trending to zero. You know, it's obviously still way over inflated, but declining sales is no good. So we will see. We will see. This is a big moment. I'm very interested. He goes live very soon. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Oh yeah, sorry. The last thing he could do is buy XAI. He can announce that Tesla is looking to purchase XAI, which would be a bailout of his AI company, which bailed out Twitter. That would be insane. If that happens, I'll make a whole video. I mean, that's going to be a big deal because that's crazy. And I've heard rumors whispering he might do that, but nothing concrete. It would be a big river to cross. What's up, Net Red? Welcome to the stream. Dove Rob, thank you for the 4 months. Maverick Mike, thank you for 25 months. Krishna Bira, thank you for the 8 months. Bob's Pickle Snout. Do you think Tesla buying XAI would help or hurt the stock in the short term? Nobody knows about stocks in the short term. I think it would hurt the company severely. If they buy it for the value Elon says it's worth, if they go $90 billion to buy XAI, it's just not worth that. It's a massive, massive overpay. And again, I think the total amount of profit Tesla has made ever combined to the whole company, it's like 30 billion, something like that. It's like 20 to 40 billion. So we're in that range. So if you were to spend 90 billion buying a company, you've erased all the profit plus more that you've ever made in the history of the company. So it would not be a good thing. What if X goes solo, then buys Tesla, then X goes up 100 million?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's first quarter 2025
Q&A here we go.
Podcast. My name is Travis Axelrod, Head of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Dev Taneja, and a number of other executives. Our Q1 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast.
Okay.
During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up.
Okay.
Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. Before we jump into Q&A, Elon will be providing an update. Elon?
Let's get it. Elon.
Hello, everyone. Well, it's never a dull moment these days. One thing's for sure, every day is going to be exciting. As people know, there's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government with the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. I think the work that we're doing there is actually very important for trying to rein in the insane deficit that is leading our country, the United States, to destruction. And the DOGE team has made a lot of progress in addressing waste and fraud.
Okay.
The natural blowback from that is those who were receiving the wasteful dollars and the fraudulent dollars will try to attack me and Doge team.
Okay,
and
opening with
anything
politics.
associated
Good.
with me. So, but then I'm really left with two choices. Should we just let the waste and fraud continue?
It is continuing.
And it was continuing at it to grow at a really unsustainable pace that was bankrupting the country, or to fight the waste and fraud and try to get the country back on the right track. And I believe the right thing to do is to fight the waste and fraud and get the country back on the right track, and working together with President Trump and his administration. Because if the ship of America goes down, we all go down with it, including Tesla and everyone else. So I think this is critical work.
Okay.
Now, the protests that you'll see out there, they're very organized. They're paid for.
No, he's doubling down.
They're obviously not going to admit that the reason that they're protesting is because they're receiving fraudulent money.
Are you kidding me?
Or that the
Are you fucking kidding me?
Largesse, but they're gonna come up with some other reason. But that is the real reason.
Did you guys get your Soros checks?
The actual reason is that those receiving the waste and fraud wish to continue receiving it. That is the real thing that's going on.
Bro, the deficit is increasing.
So now that said, I do think there's.
I'm gonna turn it up. He's being quiet.
You know, the large slug of work necessary to get the Doge team in place and working in the government to get the financial house in order is mostly done.
Only time higher was the beginning of COVID.
I think.
Only time higher was the beginning of COVID.
Starting probably in next month, May, my time allocation to Doge will drop significantly. I'll have to continue doing it for, I think, probably the remainder of the president's term, just to make sure that the waste and fraud that we stop does not come roaring back.
Wait, what day did he say?
Which we'll do if it has the chance. So I think I'll continue.
Did you say May 16 or May this month?
A day or two.
May
or a
this
week
year.
On government matters, for as long as the president would like me to do so, and as long as it is useful. But starting next month, I'll be allocating far more of my time to Tesla, and now that the major work of establishing the Department of Government Efficiency is done.
Dude, why do you speak like a kid in the principal's office? Like, got in trouble.
At Tesla, we've gone through many
I think he said
and actually
May he's
many near-death
stepping back from Doge.
I think we're on the ragged edge of death, at least maybe a dozen times. It's been so many times. This is not one of those times. We're not on the ragged edge of death, not even close. But you know, there are some challenges. And I expect that this year will be there'll probably be some unexpected bumps this year. But I remain extremely optimistic about the future of the company. The future of the company is fundamentally based on large-scale autonomous cars and large-scale, in large volume, vast numbers of autonomous humanoid robots.
That's what I said. Okay, he's dropping in May. But he'll continue for the remainder of the president's term.
It makes truly useful autonomous.
It's kind of a weasel. It's both sides.
And autonomous useful vehicles at scale, at low cost, which is what Tesla's going to do.
Dude, he sounds so depressed.
Staggering. I continue to believe that Tesla, with excellent execution, will be the most valuable company in the world by far. But that's an important if. We must execute well. But we do execute well.
Bro, you just reported 71% down earnings, and you're on your way to being the most.
it may be as valuable as the next 5 companies combined.
Dude, stop saying this. You are ignoring the elephant in the room. The cars are plummeting in sales.
There'll be a few bumps along the road before that happens. I said, I think on the last earnings call that, we'll start to see the prosperity of autonomy take effect in a material way around the middle of next year. Well, we still expect to be selling
next
fully
year?
autonomous rides in June in Austin, as we've been saying for now several months. So that's continued, but
autonomous next year. That's a line I never heard before from him.
Is when does it really become material and affect the bottom line of the company, and start to be a fundamental part of the
Dude,
when does it move the financial needle in a significant way? That's probably
when?
Around the middle of next year, second half of next year.
Come on.
And then once it does start to move the financial needle in a significant way, it will really go exponential from there. So
come on, dude.
I encourage people to look beyond this
is like a Woody doll. You just pull the string and he says the same fucking lines.
Some sort of bumps and potholes of the road immediately ahead of us, but lift your gaze to the bright shining, citadel on a hill. I don't know, some Reagan-esque imagery,
bro is not cooking. Bro is cooking with nothing.
Not too distant future, like I said, end of next year, technically. So
this is the big speech.
Let's see. With respect to supply chain risk, something that Tesla has been working on.
This is the code red save the company speech. Get everyone back.
This actually makes sense.
Roaring Kitty could do better than this.
From a logistics risk standpoint, is to have the supply chains be at least located on the continent in which the car is built. And so we are, I think, the least affected car company with respect to tariffs, at least in most respects. I mean, it remains to be seen. Now tariffs are still, tough on a company when margins are still low.
I mean, you might be slightly better than
we do
some
have
companies because you have
chains in
100%.
North America, Europe, and China.
But tariffs are not going to help your business.
That puts us
increasing competition from China doesn't help your business. And you're also right in the middle of the U.S.-China decoupling war. I mean, that's a big material risk you're kind of glossing over. Sorry.
Undoubtedly, I'm going to get a lot of questions about tariffs, and I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision.
He doesn't like tariffs
I've
either.
been
Hey, amen,
on
brother.
the record many times as saying that I believe
you got a business and you suddenly realize that it's fucking stupid on every level?
For prosperity. But this decision is fundamentally up to the elected representative of the people, being the President of the United States. So, I'll continue to advocate for lower tariffs rather than higher tariffs, but that's all I can do. So,
turn on CC. I don't even think you could pick him up.
Now let me walk you through why I'm so excited about the future of Tesla. So first of all, autonomy. The team and I are laser focused on bringing robotaxi to Austin in June.
Great.
Unsupervised autonomy will first be solved for the Model Y in Austin, and then actually we should parse out the terms robotic taxi or robotaxi and just generally like what's the Cybercab, because we've got a product called the Cybercab.
Okay.
And then but any Tesla, which could be an S3, X, or Y that is autonomous, is a robotic taxi or robotaxi.
Xbox.
It's very confusing.
Series X, Series.
So
The naming scheme is stolen straight from Xbox, bro. It's not good.
That we've made is capable of being a robotaxi or robotic taxi. As we're going from, once we can make the system work where you can have paid rides fully autonomously with no one in the car.
Dude, Waymo's doing that right now.
That is a very
in many cities
to go broadly.
Waymo's doing it right now.
Whatever jurisdiction allows.
Yeah, I've been in one. You can just get in the car.
So, because what we're solving for is
he's talking about it like it's
autonomy,
like it's the forefront of technology.
Not a city-specific solution for autonomy. Once we make it work in a few cities, we can basically make it work in all cities in that legal jurisdiction. So once we can make it basically work in a few cities in America, we can make it work anywhere in America. Once we can make it work in a few cities in China, it can work anywhere in China. Likewise,
I get
Europe,
it.
limited only by regulatory approvals. So this is the advantage of having a generalized solution using artificial intelligence and an AI chip that Tesla designed specifically for this purpose.
Oh, let's talk about AI. Why don't you suggest buying
as
XAI?
Opposed to very
Go for the
expensive
slam
sensors and high precision maps of a particular neighborhood where that neighborhood may change or often changes, and then the cost stops working. So we have a general solution instead of a
A1
specific
baby.
solution.
Yeah, I get it. You cheaped out on sensors, and now there's higher risk of crash.
And regard to Optimus,
and the sensors get cheaper every year, and you become more and more behind the curve.
We expect to have thousands of Optimus robots working in Tesla factories by the end of this year, doing useful work. We expect to scale Optimus up faster than any product, I think, in history.
Dude,
to get to
scale
millions of units per year as soon as possible.
Humanoid
I think,
robots faster than any product in history.
In getting to a million
There's
units
not going to be
in
any
less than 5 years.
regulatory or mechanical issues with scaling up humanoid robots.
So
faster than the iPod.
This is 2030. I feel confident.
This is horse shit. This is a horse shit.
It might be 2029.
2029?
So, let's see. With respect to energy, our energy business is doing very well.
Well, you're not going to be selling cars by then. Might be 2029.
Enables utility companies to output far more total energy than would otherwise be the case. When you think of the energy capability of a grid, it's much more than say total energy output per year. If the power plants could operate,
why are you so pessimistic?
At peak power.
It's not my first time hearing an Elon call, right?
All 24 hours, as opposed to being at half.
He doesn't have a great track record with promises. That's why I'm pessimistic.
You could double the energy output.
Okay, he's a little bit of a trickster
of existing power plants. But in order to
he's
do
a little
that,
bit of a goober.
You need to buffer the energy so that you can charge up the something like a battery pack at night and then discharge into the grid during the day. So this is a massive unlock on total energy output of any given grid over the course of the year.
The battery stuff is cool, low key.
And utility companies are beginning to realize this.
Yeah.
And are buying our mega packs at scale.
Yep. The mega packs is a good product.
Point, a gigawatt class battery,
especially in like, I mean, you could sell this in Germany when they have a ton of wind and solar and they need a fucking battery. It actually can work.
In the hopper for gigawatt and beyond batteries.
But it's still small.
And we expect the stationary energy storage business to scale ultimately to terawatts per year. So,
but I understand, yeah, Germany's not a big fan of Tesla or Elon.
Now, Q1,
they'll do it as a last resort. I mean, that's like with Starlink. Dude, people have to use it sometimes, but they're trying to find another solution.
Because it's usually the worst part of the year because people don't want to go buy a car in the middle of winter during a blizzard. So,
no, No, don't say it's the worst part of the year. These are year-over-year results. It is down 71% from this time last year.
To the new version of the Model Y.
The winter last year, they sold way more cars. It's not. Don't try to make it like, oh, it's winter. That's why it's down. It's a year-over-year comparison, bro. That's fucking horseshit again.
With a 1.1 billion unit per year output of a single model. And we did this changeover at the same time in factories all across the world. So congratulations to the Tesla team on an amazing job in pulling off what is a very difficult transition. So yeah, it's really, that was very impressive work. So yeah. In conclusion, while there are many near-term headwinds for us and the broader industry, the future for Tesla is brighter than ever. The value of the company is delivering sustainable abundance.
He sounds like a kid reading off a PowerPoint slide in front of class.
I like this phrase.
It sounds so
sustainable abundance for all. If you say, like, what's the ideal future that you can imagine?
Middle school presentation, yeah.
That's what you'd want. You'd want abundance for all in a way that's sustainable. It's good for the environment. Basically, this is the happy future. So what's the happiest
this
future?
This is the happy future?
One that would be a future where there's sustainable abundance for all. Closest thing to heaven we can get on earth, basically.
Let's get to the Q&A, bro. Tesla's going to bring the closest thing to heaven on earth.
Thank you again to the Tesla team for all their efforts at the challenging time.
It's going to be bigger than every other stock, next 5 companies combined, and bring us closer to heaven on earth. Good thing you don't overpromise.
Great. Thank you very much, Elon. Before we move on, Vaibhav has some opening remarks as well.
Thanks, Elon. As Elon mentioned, in Q1, we achieved something which has never been undertaken in the automotive industry of updating all our factories for the best-selling car in the world, all at the same time. And this people don't understand, this was not a small feat. We're not aware of anybody else being able to do the best-selling car all at once within a quarter, and that too hitting all the timelines which we had established at the beginning. So big kudos to the team for making this happen. Additionally, we also hit a record gross profit for energy storage business in the quarter.
Yeah, the storage business is good.
Now, getting back into the business, there's been a lot of speculation as to the reasons for decline of our vehicle deliveries in the first quarter.
Yeah, why?
We had previously guided that we will be updating all factories, and this would lead to several weeks of lost production, which did happen as planned. The ripple effect of the change is not having enough new Model Y available in most markets for people to see and experience till the last few weeks of the quarter. Additionally, the negative impact of vandalism and unwarranted hostility towards our brand and our people had an impact in certain markets.
Yeah. Despite
this, we were able to sell out legacy Model Y in US, China, and a few other markets within the quarter. And again, just so people understand, we were producing the legacy Model Y till middle to end of February. And we switched over and we were able to still sell out within that period. Okay, so again, big achievement.
Depends on the deals offered, right?
The people at Tesla to make it happen. We have a very extremely competitive vehicle lineup, which with most vehicles going through a recent update.
Yeah, it was like the price cuts were insane, and you had 0% financing. So yeah, you can move the last final units, but
which can take you almost anywhere under supervision. There are numerous stories shared by customers ranging from how it has improved their daily commute, to providing mobility to customers with disabilities, to giving older customers the ability to travel comfortably and independently. Not only is FSD supervised safer than a human driver, but it is also improving the lives of individuals who experience it. And again, this is something you have to experience, and anybody who has experienced just knows it. And we've been doing a lot lately.
People have experienced it in a Waymo.
Get those stories out, at least on X, so that people can see how other people have benefited from this. Now, coming into some of the financial stuff, auto margins declined sequentially, primarily due to the reduction in the total number of deliveries, lower fixed cost absorption due to factory changeovers, and lower regulatory credit revenues, offset by a slight increase in pricing due to the launch of new Model Y, despite incentives which we had to sell legacy Model Y.
Yeah, incentives. There, you
Our
snuck it
energy
in.
storage business, like I said before, has achieved.
They had to
yet
get rid of
another
old Model Ys, so they pushed them out the
milestone
door
of,
with insane
great
deals
highest
that they're
gross
going to
profit in
eat
the
later
quarter.
on.
This was despite, sequential decline in deployments. The importance of this business, as Elon mentioned, is pretty profound, especially in this environment, because, if in order for grid to work properly with the demands from AI and all this,
What?
you need some
Dude,
more
it's hard to understand
stability.
sometimes.
And this is by far the simplest and best solution which we are aware of, which can help do this. And we've also developed certain unique solutions to help our customers to achieve this. Additionally, on the Powerwall side, we've
No, the
been
mic is bad. It keeps
selling
cutting
the
out,
new
and it's like right in
Powerwall
the middle of.
3,
And he's speaking very
and,
soft.
It's been received with very good reception from customers, and to the extent that we are currently supply constrained. On services and other margins, they were slightly down sequentially,
they
primarily because of the pressure on our
Make
used
these
car
earnings
business
calls
and
hard to
insurance
hear
business.
and boring on
Note
purpose.
that we continued our journey to improve
So
profitability
nobody
in our
listens too
services
close,
and
bro. This is
provision
crazy.
business
They
through
could get a better
labor
mic setup.
productivity. As previously discussed, our operating expenses continue to increase sequentially, primarily due to our AI-related initiatives, including Optimus, and also cost of development for our vehicle programs, including Cybercab, Semi, and cheaper models.
Okay, so what you're
These
saying
expenses
is
flow through
your
our
costs went up and
We
your
believe,
revenue
even
went
in the
down.
current environment, it is the right strategy, making investments in these areas.
Sorry, I
Position
just want to
us
be
for the long
simple
term.
about it. You're spending
These
more
increases
money
were offset by
to
decreases
sell fewer
in
cars. Is
SG&A
that
from changes in our vehicle referral program.
good business or bad business?
Other income reduced significantly on a sequential basis. The primary reason was Bitcoin mark-to-market loss in Q1 versus gain in Q4, resulting in a 472 million drop. The remainder of the change is because of FX remeasurement. With the
They lost
adoption of the new
472 million
mark-to-market
holding
standard for
Bitcoin?
we expect increased volatility in other income in addition to the FX volatility. I know tariffs is the hottest topic which people talk about, and it has various impacts to our business.
That's so fire.
As Elon mentioned,
That's so
on the vehicle
fire.
business, we've been on this journey of regionalization.
Bro's
for
talking
years.
more than Elon.
Specifically in the US,
Let's see about
Model
that. Can I
Y
get the Bitcoin
has
in
been
the...
rated the most American model made car on Cars.com Made in America Index 3 years
Investor
ago.
relations deck?
This in part is of all the work which the team has been doing over the years. And to the extent that today, if you look at our vehicle lineup in US, we're about approximately on a weighted average basis, 85% USMCA compliant.
Tesla holds
So,
951 million
definitely
in
gives us a
crypto.
bigger edge as compared to our other OEMs.
Essentially $1 billion
in terms
in
of managing
crypto.
the tariffs, but we're not immune because when the Section 232 auto tariffs become
And it's
effective
down,
in May,
but I can't see how much.
which includes Canada and Mexico, and Canada and Mexico has been part of our regionalization strategy, they will have an impact to our profitability. And I know research modeling on this impact has been about a couple of thousand, which is pretty much in line with what we've been forecasting. The impact of tariffs on the energy business will be outsized since we source LFP battery cells from China. We're in the process of commissioning equipment for the local manufacturing of LFP battery cells in the US. However, the equipment which we have can only service a fraction of our total installed capacity at Lathrop. We've also been working on securing.
It looks like that's 125 million. Look at the balance sheet. It looks like that's 125 million.
But it will take time. Also note that Megafact, irrespective
Bro is
of
yapping.
all the impact on US, from tariffs on the energy business.
Get to the Q&A.
We do have Megafactory China, which just started operations in Q1, and that should take care of our business outside of US. There's also an important impact of tariffs on our capital investments. I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, since in order to onshore manufacturing or expand lines, we have to bring equipment.
He did
from
say
outside
they're going to
use
use the
because
China
there is not that
factory
much
to
capacity
service
in US.
everyone outside the United
And
States.
the current trade environment.
Good for America. We get more expensive stuff because we can't use the
equipment
best
being brought
factory
in
for
is subject to-
Tesla.
It'd be expensive to bring it in from China right now.
Exactly.
Thank God we have tariffs.
And the reality is that China has the basic one which has the most capacity to provide this equipment. Our CapEx guidance, inclusive of model tariffs, even with the optimization we have tried to do, it is forecasted to be still in excess of 10 billion this year.
So this is a 1-2
We're
punch
still
of
evaluating
Elon
what
mumbling
more to
and
do on this.
lying, and then this guy
To
mumbling and
summarize,
yapping.
we have near-term challenges in our business due to tariffs and bad image.
Okay,
The
tariffs
team
of
strategy
and
of providing the best product at a competitive price is going to be a winner. And this is the reason we're still focused on bringing cheaper models to market soon. The start of production is still planned for June. Additionally, the advancement in FSD-related features, including pilot robotaxi launch in Austin later this year, should help create a new era of demand. I would like to thank everyone at Tesla and our customers.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Now we will move on
Q&A.
to investor questions.
Q&A.
We will start with questions from say.com.
Okay.
First question is, what are the highest risk items on the critical path to robotaxi launch and scaling?
What is Sade.com?
It is Ashok.
Yeah, we've got a struggle on.
Sure. Well, just to
This is what Sade.com is?
Backed by the just
Slate,
disambiguate
maybe. Okay.
the cybercab from robotaxi once again. When will the Teslas, because the Teslas that will be fully autonomous in June in Austin will be Model Ys. So that is that's currently on track to be able to do paid rides fully autonomously in Austin in June.
Okay. Paid rides
and then to
Austin
be in
June. Dude, is he crashing?
any other cities in the U.S.
Like a robot?
by the end of this year. It's very difficult. It's difficult to predict the exact ramp, sort of week by week, month by month, except that it will ramp up very quickly. So it's going to be like some.
It's difficult to predict, but it will be
S-curve,
quick.
where it's very difficult to predict the intermediate slope of the S curve, but you kind of know where the S curve is going to end up, which is the vast majority of the Tesla fleet being autonomous.
Okay.
So that's why I feel confident in predicting large-scale autonomy around the middle of next year. But, certainly the second half of next year. Meaning, I predict that there will be millions of
the second half of
Teslas
next year?
operating autonomously, fully autonomously.
Bro, you might have said this
in the
before.
second half of next year. It does seem increasingly likely that there will be a localized parameter set where sort of like that.
Sorry, I just want
to. Especially for places that have, say, very snowy weather, like say if you're in the Northeast or something, like there's, you can think of it, it's kind of like a human. Like, if you could be a very good driver in California, but are you going to be also a good driver in a blizzard in Manhattan? You're not going to be as good.
okay.
So there is actually some value in, you can still drive, but your probability of an accident is higher. So it's increasingly obvious that there's some value to having a localized set of parameters for different regions and localities. But this is I put that in the nice to have category.
I've said this before, but the fact that we went from Steve Jobs to this for our big
really,
evil tech billionaire guy is a disappointment. It fucking sucks, dude. Steve Jobs may not have been a nice guy in his real life, but my God, he could speak, he could inspire, he could.
And so the same.
You know, this is fucking. This is horrendous.
Or, a digital neural net and cameras versus a biological neural net and eyes. Ashok, if you'd like to elaborate on that.
Yeah, and speaking to the location-specific models, we still have a generalized approach, and you can see that from deployment of FSD supervised in China, where with just very minimal data that's like China-specific, the models generalize quite well to completely different driving styles. That just like shows that the AI-based solution that we have is the right one, because if you had gone down the previous rule-based solutions or like more hard-coded HD map-based solutions, it would have taken like many years to get China to work. You can see those in the videos that people post online themselves.
As opposed to the very few years that you've taken.
So the generalized solution that we're pursuing,
I would hate for it to take many years to get this thing going.
And you can think of this like location.
God, that would be horrendous. I'm glad you were able to move much quicker.
Experts, and if you're sort of like familiar with the AI models like Grok and others, they all use this mixture of experts to sort of like specialize the parameters to specific tasks while still being general. This makes the model use limited amount of compute to solve for the diversity of tasks that it has to solve. In terms of addressing the question that asks for, what are the critical things that we need to get right? One thing I would like to note is validation. Self-driving is a long-tail problem where there can be a lot of edge cases that only happen very rarely.
Yeah, people die in those.
We are driving around in Austin using our QA fleet, but then it's like super rare to get interventions that are critical for robotaxi operation. And so you can like go many days without getting a single intervention. So you can't easily know whether you're improving or regressing in your capacity.
Bro, don't be part of the first test case in Austin
simulations, including neural network-based video generation.
They're using you to figure out the edge cases.
We deliver a safe product.
If you're in Austin in June,
safety, even though we can't just like see it by driving around the block or something like that.
In very basic terms, if we're seeing an accident every 10,000 miles, well, then you have to drive 10,000 miles on average before you get an accident or an intervention. So it's like, okay. Now imagine, we must be really, people must be very worked out by the sheer number of Teslas doing circuits in Austin right now. We're like, well, it's going to look pretty bizarre.
Yeah. Some people are chasing us away.
Yeah. There's just always a convoy of Teslas going just going all over to Austin in circles. But yeah, as I just can't emphasize this enough. In order to figure out these long tail things, if it's 1 in 10,000, let's say it's 1 in 20,000 miles or 1 in 30, then now the average person drives 10,000 miles in a year. So now try to compress that test cycle into a matter of, a few months. That means you need a lot of cars doing a lot of driving in order to compress.
And the test cycles with real human beings
in a matter of a month, what would normally take
live on the road. And some of them may die.
I would just also add that, if you haven't looked at those videos coming out of China, people are
those videos are amazing.
Yeah, they're putting it to real test. I mean, they're taking to dirt roads.
Frankly, I think the Chinese consumer might be the most demanding consumer, and I actually, our customers in China are awesome. They have a lot of fun with the cars. I saw one guy.
They say most demanding
on autonomously on a narrow dirt road.
Yes.
Across like a mountain, and I'm like, still a very brave person.
They said the Chinese consumers are most demanding because they have other options.
Makes a mistake, he's going to plunge to his doom.
They're most demanding because they have a lot of different choices.
Thank you.
Affordable,
The
good
question was on
choices.
Cybercab itself. We're in B sample validation now.
Yeah, we should ask that question too.
Yeah, we have our first like,
Dude, he's having a good time. Me too.
like big builds coming at the end of
The
this
vibes
quarter.
are good, don't get me
in
wrong.
Q2, and then in the coming months we start to large scale installation of all the equipment in Giga Texas with still on schedule for production next year.
Yeah, and I just want to also clarify, because I think people don't understand. They think that there's no new building being built.
I wish I did some
Where
ket
is
before this.
Cybercab
Oh,
built?
it's in the
It's within the same factory.
I think I would get it more. I would
It's-
vibe with
it's
it more.
It's happening, and people don't know it's just happening upstairs and all along the lines while we're still building the Model Ys and Cybertrucks every day.
Yeah, it's worth noting that the Tesla Gigafactory in
My
Austin
first
is 3 times the size
hire,
of the
if you
Pentagon.
gave me CEO of Tesla for a day,
Including the garden.
would be somebody that doesn't
Yeah,
mumble.
including the Ground Zero garden. So
There's like 8 people on this call all
Pulling you to a
mumbling.
But then you won't.
Great. Thank you very much. The next question is, when will FSD unsupervised be available for personal use on personally owned cars?
Middle of next year.
But before the end of this year.
Oh, come
Not
on.
necessarily I say so within the US, like we do want to test, like we're at Tesla, we're absolutely hardcore about safety. We go to great lengths to make
Not hardcore enough to pay for the
have
LiDAR.
the lowest accidents per mile, and so and low,
Not
fewest
hardcore
lives
enough
lost.
for radar or LiDAR,
So
but
we want to be very careful. So we want autonomy to be definitively safer.
because you said in
than,
this call they're too expensive.
manual driving. So it's not enough that it just be as safe. It needs to be meaningfully safer than if it's for cars manually driven.
Of course.
So, and we want to confirm that there's not something. We just want to be cautious with the rollout. We don't want to jump in at the deep end with an army. So,
And would you say cautious
that
is
said,
10 years
I
of
think
promising?
we should be able to have it work in several cities later this year for personal use. The acid test being you should be able to can you go to sleep in your car and wake up at your destination?
Yeah.
And I'm confident that will be available in many cities in the US by the end of this year.
Bro, you can do that in a Waymo right now.
Great. Thank you very much.
Do it
The next question
right
is,
now.
is Tesla still on track
And you
for
sound
releasing
so
more affordable
unsure
models this
that
year?
you can get it
Or
done.
will you be focusing on simplified versions to enhance affordability, similar to the rear-wheel drive Cybertruck?
Yeah, we're still planning to release models this year. As with all launches, we're working through like the last minute issues that pop up. We're knocking them down one by one. At this point, I would say that ramp might be a little slower than we had hoped initially, but there's nothing, just kind of given that turmoil that exists in the industry right now. But there's nothing that's blocking us from starting production within the timeline we laid out in the opening remarks. And I will say it's important to emphasize that, as we've said all along, the full utilization of our factories is the primary goal for these new products. And so flexibility of what we can do within the form factor and the design of it is really limited to what we can do on our existing lines rather than building new ones. But we've been targeting the low cost of ownership. Monthly payment is the biggest differentiator for our vehicles. And that's why we're focused on bringing these new models with the lowest price to the market within the constraints I just highlighted.
Great. Thank you very much. The next question is, does Tesla see robotaxi as a winner-take-most market? And as you approach the Austin launch, how do you expect to compare against Waymo's offering, especially regarding pricing, geofencing, and regulatory flexibility?
Good question.
Well, okay. The issue with Waymo's cars is they cost way more money. Room shot. But that is the issue. The cars are very expensive, made in low volume. Teslas are
+2.
I don't know, probably cost a quarter or 20% of what a Waymo costs, and made in very high volume. Ironically, we're the ones that made the bet that a pure AI solution with cameras and audio, the car actually will listen for sirens and that kind of thing, is the right move. And Waymo decided that an expensive sensor suite is the way to go, even though Google's very good at AI. It's ironic. And it is worth noting that Tesla's built an incredible AI, AI software team and AI hardware chip design team. From scratch, from nothing. We didn't acquire anyone. We just built it. So, yeah, it's really, I mean, I don't see anyone being able to compete with Tesla at present.
Dude.
And I'm sure that'll change eventually.
No, come on.
But at least as far as I'm aware,
Bro.
Tesla will have, I don't know,
Tesla CEO says no one can be with
9%
Tesla.
market share or something ridiculous.
99% market share?
At least, I don't know, at least something might change, but you know, if we have millions of cars deployed next year, and unless others have millions of cars deployed, we'll have, unless we're blocked by regulatory situations.
Well, you're in the government.
I mean, in a few years, we'll
destroying regulations.
Autonomous cars on the roads, then, you know, and counting.
I mean, the other thing which people forget is like, we're not just developing the software solution, we are also manufacturing the cars.
Yeah.
And like, you know what, like Waymo has, they're taking cars and then trying to put
way more money.
We don't do that. So that definitely gives us a big leg up. And like Elon said, we already have a big existing fleet, which hopefully with the software update could become autonomous.
With the software update, it will become autonomous.
Yeah, I was like, hopefully.
To be clear, the Model Y we're talking about in
don't be saying hopefully. The CEO just said it was guaranteed.
Model Ys we make currently. There's no change.
He had to correct him.
I think people don't appreciate that the car which they can buy today,
the car that they have,
or the car they have, is capable of these kind of things.
In fact, it does drive autonomously from the factory to the end of line. Every car.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
So the Cybertrucks through the tunnel, the Model Ys, everything.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. We have. It is being put to use. It's doing useful work fully autonomously at the factories, as Atrioc was mentioning. The cars drive themselves from end of line to where they're supposed to be picked up by a truck to be taken to a customer. And I'm confident also that later this year, the first Model Y will drive itself all the way to the customer. So from a factory in Boston and our one here in Fremont, California, I'm confident that from both factories, we'll be able to drive directly to a customer from the factory.
Cool delivery.
He said this year.
Yeah.
He said this year, your car will drive from the factory to where you buy.
It's important to note in the factories, we don't have dedicated lanes or anything. People are coming in and out every day, trucks delivering supplies, parts,
well, how is that a benefit to the customer, by the way?
By the way, you
your car shows up with more miles on it? If I buy it in Florida and it drives from Fremont?
People take videos online, and anyone who wants to go see it can just drive past our Fremont factory and see the autonomous cars driving themselves.
Why do I want you to pay for putting it in a truck?
To be picked up.
Yeah, the logistics yard is right there in the open.
Yeah.
We don't move it again to another lane.
But they go to a specific parking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a routine, like everyday thing now.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, can you please provide an update on the unboxed method and how that is progressing?
Sure. Unboxed?
It's progressing, absolutely. As I mentioned,
that's the dealer middleman. They already do that. You don't go to a dealer for Tesla.
Process.
You can buy it online.
Changed in order to allow the low cost of production and also get the super high levels of automation. Really levels of automation that are sort of unheard of in the vehicle manufacturing scale. This is like not something that when you see it be produced, you'll think of in terms of like, wow, that's how a car has been built for 100 years. It's really something we've changed. In the past year, we've been like focusing on a lot of key development areas, like marrying these large sub-assemblies together in a precise way, in an accurate way. We've also de-risk things like corrosion.
How often do hardball
undercoated
questions show
aluminum
up in earnings
structures,
calls?
You know,
Pretty
the sealing
frequently.
across the seams of the vehicle, and when you marry assemble
You get
components. And we've
plenty of
even done,
hardball
early
questions,
crash
but you
testing and
never
proving
get
that, like,
hardball
you know,
answers.
It's going to be just as safe as every other
Most
car we've built.
hardball questions get deflected.
And so, like, you know, with all that combined, we kind of go into the builds that we have at the end of this quarter for the CyberCAD product, and that's the next real big test of full scale, you know, integration of the unbox process. And yeah, it's kind of where we are. So you'll see them in test and on the test roads in a couple of months.
Yeah. And although the line won't be upset at this rate
Initially,
this is a revolutionary production system. I'm not sure what the right word is. Unboxing sounds like something like when you get your phone.
Here you open it up.
Yeah, you have like a pleasant experience when you take your phone out of the box. But which of course is nice, but this is much more revolutionary than that. This is a profound reimagining of how to make cars in the first place. No car is made like this anywhere in the world. The factory is the product as much as the car is the product. So it's really just the first principles approach to manufacturing that will ultimately allow us, I think, I'm confident ultimately it'll allow us to achieve a cycle time, meaning a unit every 5 seconds or less off a single line.
Talk about tariffs, and then I'm done with this call,
incorporate some of
honestly.
these for testing it into our existing production lines as well to us with the line Cybertruck already.
So this is something I've been
trying to
thinking about
skim this
a
for
long
anything
time,
interesting.
I've sort of been thinking about this for a long time, and it's kind of it's not a crazy thing. Like a car every 5 seconds may sound like it's coming out like bullets, but actually it's coming out at walking speed.
It's like a meter a second.
A meter a second. So this is like we're still far away from caring about the aerodynamic drag of the manufacturing line. You know, because you're still at 3 miles an hour type of thing. You know, 5 seconds sounds crazy, but it's 3 miles an hour. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, you can run away from it basically. But that's still by far the fastest line on Earth.
Expenses up.
You know, and it's like half motor minute. Like I don't know.
Down.
What's like the best single line on Earth? It's like about
Shanghai phase 2.
And that's us.
33 seconds.
Yes.
And we're the fastest, right?
I would think so.
We think we're the fastest at 33 seconds in our Shanghai factory, but this would be, you know, 6 times faster or 7 times faster thereabouts. So yeah, I mean it'll be slower than that at first, but the point is that like when you fully optimize,
can we get like a live feedback from Elon Glazers? Like what are they saying about this? What are Tesla bulls saying?
A 5 second cycle time or less is the design is capable of it, you know. So if
let's see,
you know, like when you go through like a radical new architecture, you go from like being like an A. I mean, I'd say like probably Shanghai in particular is an A+ on a moderately, you know, an advanced but still traditional
be a Tesla bull
car production system. Sort of, they're really doing about as good as possible to do within a conventional scenario. So trying to get much below, you know, sort of below like 30 seconds is extremely difficult. But if not, and you start getting into sort of impossible where you have to be faster than a human could possibly move.
Dude, he's just yammering. He's just yammering.
It really just needs to be robots moving really fast, and that's where you get to sub 5 seconds. But we'll start off with at getting a C in, instead of an A, getting a C in a new architecture. But then the potential is there over time to move that up to an A+ within an A+ architecture.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, how is Tesla positioning itself to flexibly adapt to global economic risks in the form of tariffs, political biases,
Okay, tariffs.
etc.?
This is the one I want to hear, and then I'm probably done with this call because he's
As
just fucking...
Elon said, we've been supply chain team been at it for a while.
Is he not even going to answer?
We continue to mitigate global economic risks like tariffs and political biases by regionalizing part supply near its factories in North America, Berlin, and Shanghai. For example, in North America, our high volume vehicle programs have over 85% North America content, and Shanghai vehicles have over 95% local content. Berlin has similar levels of regionalization as North America. When you exclude the
God, these
battery,
mics
we
are
working on
fucking
regionalizing the battery as well. This is a pre-pandemic strategy that we accelerated post-pandemic through supply diversification, dual sourcing, vertical integration, advanced analytics, and local partnerships to ensure supply chain resilience
He's
and
just reading the
production
script,
stability.
bro.
Having said that, we are not 100% insulated, and these tariff risks are higher on our low volume platforms than the high volume ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, there's no more vertically integrated car company than Tesla. I mean, we're the most vertically integrated car company since,
Give it a rest, Squeaks.
Henry Ford back in the day when they were doing mining iron and stuff, and growing rubber trees. So, we're not growing rubber trees and mining iron yet.
Since Henry Ford mined iron and stuff.
We have built a lithium refinery in South Texas, and it's the biggest lithium refinery outside of China, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Oh,
Once it's started up.
yeah, but it has its output potential would be the biggest lithium refinery.
Is it not up?
And we've got space to expand it if we need to build more.
Right. So, and then we've got the cathode refinery in Austin next to the Gigafactory. We're gonna figure out what to do about the anode. It's an ongoing subject of discussion. The best of all possible worlds would be figuring out how to have no anode. Best anode, best part being no part. That's the dream of the lithium batteries, to be anode, not have an anode. But either way, we better have the anode, the cathode, and the lithium, and the electrolyte, and the separator to make a cell.
Okay.
But there's no other car company that is building lithium refineries and cathode refineries. We're ridiculously vertically integrated, and thus our best position to protect against supply chain disruptions.
Yeah.
Right. Lonnie, do you want to talk about the progress in the front?
Yeah, certainly for our in-house cells, we've multi-sourced every component, and we have.
What's he yapping about? He's saying
every
that
part coming from at least 2
tariffs
different countries,
on
origin, which is
parts of the battery supply chain from China
we
are not
started
going to
this
affect them
supply
as
chain
bad
team
as other
engineering
car
team worked together
companies
on this for the
because
last
they have
couple of
built their
years
own
to put
lithium
together. It's not
refinery in
something we did
Texas.
in a couple of
and,
months. This is years of work.
Battery production.
So we're in a good
So
position
they will be
to
more insulated.
take advantage of that, and the insourcing.
But it's not working. It's not built yet.
Cathode.
And we don't know what the tariffs are going to be tomorrow. And other car companies might just
and we're totally insulated from
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Well,
have no
it needs to be in operation.
tariff on
It needs to be in
batteries.
operation.
At the same time, it
also
doesn't make you
itself,
more cost competitive
by the way.
versus
So
BYD in
self-production.
every country in the world except for America.
There's this.
By the way, I can say all this pretty clearly without mumbling.
Lithium, the electrolyte separator.
So why can't the CEO of the company do it?
Factory. And there are entire companies that all they do is produce cells, but they don't do the other stuff. They don't refine lithium or the cathode or, So our cell production is going quite well, and I think we're.
He's high off his ass, bro.
We're currently sort of the lowest cost per kilowatt hour.
Yeah. For all the cells we purchase in North America.
Yeah, so it's
Lowest cost to us.
yeah. So we have the lowest cost per kilowatt hour, all things considered. So the Tesla cell is the most competitive cell.
Dude, it's crazy. I gotta pause this. I'm sorry. If you want to listen to it, it's gonna be available. I need to talk for a little bit, and this guy's rambling underneath it, and this question is being deflected. It is insane to come out with earnings that show a dramatic drop in car sales, clearly attributed to large swaths of customers turning away from the brand, and not mention it the whole call. To say a brief thing at the beginning of how there's paid protests by George Soros. It's crazy. If you're an investor in this company, this is crazy.
The most important thing is we're not tying up working capital for 6 to 8 weeks on the ocean. If there's a design change, then everything that's in transit basically has to be scrapped. Secondly, port disruptions, as we saw during COVID, can be very expensive because slight disconnects can shut down production. So then your only option is costly air expedite. It also gives us resilience in supply chain. If one region is down, we can bridge with others. It's more work to set up in the beginning, but it's critical to have when the need arises. Having said that, it's unrealistic to assume 100% regionalization across the board for specialized areas such as semiconductors. In such cases, our team works very closely with our partners to ensure we have strategic banks in place and a disruption doesn't impact production while we stand up the regional manufacturing for that particular commodity.
And, I'll say like on the rest of the vehicle, like Elon was talking about with cells, we're also heavily vertically integrated, import ingots, and turn them into castings. We recycle those in melt centers, the same thing with plastics, but it doesn't mean we're not exposed. We do have some areas where we use rare earth magnets, and we've been working for years to find alternative sources and bring those up, as well as we have our induction machines. And as we've mentioned in the past, we're working on ferrite motors for some time. So like, as Karn said,
sorry, wait.
With our
Mr. Pause. Every earnings call is designed to say everything's fine. Yeah, I've listened to hundreds of earnings calls now. I understand that. I understand he's not going to be like, yeah, we're fucked. The thing that differentiates what you hear from the good, high activity CEOs is they will address these concerns head on with a clear, easily communicated plan for what's going on, how they plan to fix it, and the plan for the future. This is dancing around, obfuscating, mumbling, look over here at this different small thing. Like this is a car company that is drastically selling fewer cars. This is code red. This is the big issue. It's a company that's valued at 132 times sales, and with declining sales. That's why it. I mean, I understand, I guess, why he's doing it. I understand his playbook, but it feels so outdated now. Do you know what I'm saying? It feels
we have a slight disconnect of aligning the right cells with the right packs. So that's the little bit of puzzle that we have to solve internally. But as far as cells go, there's no shortage.
Great. Thank you very much. The next question is, did Tesla experience any meaningful changes in order inflow rate in Q1 relating to all of the rumors of brand damage?
Okay, good question.
So
good question.
in Q1, as mentioned earlier, we took the best-selling car of the last 2 years and ramped up all 4 of our global factories. And in less than 8 weeks, we've already gone to the rate of our previous Model Ys in the factories. So just kudos again to the team for the great job there. And despite the economic strain and negative articles that in California in Q1, Tesla remained the best-selling car, not just EV. And additionally, we had a record number of test drives globally in Q1 as well. So interest remains high. And so right now we continue to see good interest still in the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's not immune to sort of the macro demand for cars.
Yes.
So when there is economic uncertainty,
EV car sales are up. For example, in Norway, Tesla sales are down.
Purchase like a car.
EV car sales are up. For example, in Germany, Tesla sales are down. It's not macro demand for cars shrinking.
We don't see any reduction in demand.
Correct. And that's where we continue to focus on affordability, and it's a fundamental focus there.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. The next question is regarding the Tesla Optimus pilot line. Could you confirm if it is currently operational? If so, what is the current production rate of Optimus bots per week? Additionally, how might the recent tariffs impact the scalability of this production line?
Are you worried about tariffs on Optimus bots? They're not.
No, Optimus. I just want to emphasize, Optimus is still very much a development program. It's not some large volume production. That's why, this year, we'll make a few. We do expect to make thousands of Optimus robots, but most of that production is going to be at the end of the year.
So it might slip.
Almost everything in Optimus is new. There's not like an existing supply chain for the motors, gearboxes, electronics, actuators, really anything in the almost anything in the Optimus, apart from the AI for Tesla, the Tesla AI computer, which is the same as the one in the car. So
a lot of people talking about fucking their Optimus robots.
When you have a new complex manufactured product, it'll move as fast as the slowest and least lucky component in the entire thing. And as a first order approximation, there's like 10,000 unique things. So that's why this
is your
anyone who tells you they can predict.
I'm seeing in chat, everyone's saying,
with precision.
This is your
the production ramp
turning you on. This is flirt.
Truly new product doesn't know what they're talking about.
I don't know about that.
It is literally impossible. So you go through this.
Maybe he will sell some of these. I don't know how many people.
Where it's like this part's the limiting factor, now that part's the limiting factor, now this part's the limiting factor, and multiply that by 1,000 basically. And then the rate of the production ramp is decided by how quickly you can solve each of those problems. Now, Optimus was affected, by the magnet issue from China, because the Optimus actuators in the ARM do use permanent magnets. Now, Tesla as a whole does not need to use permanent magnets, but when something is volume constrained, like an ARM of the robot, then you want to try to make the motors as small as possible. And then, so we did design in permanent magnets for those motors, and those were affected by the supply chain, by basically China requiring an export license to send out any rare earth magnets.
So there's a tariff on magnets. That's part of your robot.
So we're working through that with China. Hopefully we'll get a license to use the rare earth magnets. China wants some assurances that these are not used for military purposes, which obviously they're not. They're just going into a humanoid robot. So it's not a weapon system. But that is
China won't sell them the magnets unless they're sure the Optimus robots can't kill.
But I'm confident we'll overcome these issues, and we'll by the end of this year have thousands of Optimus robots.
Great, thank you very much. And the last question. We already covered earlier whether robotaxi was still on track for this year. So with that, we can move on to analyst questions. The first question is going to come from Pierre at New Street. Pierre, please unmute yourself.
Last question, moving on to analyst
Hey guys, can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah.
Hey Peter, why does your mic sound better than the CEO?
So I'm super excited to hear robotaxi and Optimus becoming the very tangible future for Tesla. But I have actually a question on the legacy, not the legacy, but the current auto business. And when I look back at the ramp of Model 3 a few years ago,
Do you think he's going to ask if they can include a free baguette with every
being
Tesla?
the icon of car, a new product, completely reinvented, very different user experience, vastly superior, impossible to match for traditional competitors. And for the iPhone, it resulted in the high end of the smartphone market quadrupling in size, and actually Apple taking 60% market share. And so when you look at the Model 3 and the Model Y today, I think they are still really vastly superior to any other cars. And I wonder why they've taken about 15% of their addressable market and not more, actually. So another way to put it is, why are there so many people still buying BMWs and Mercedes, knowing that the Model 3 and the Model Ys are out there?
He basically glazed Tesla cars, said, why are they so fucking good? If they're so good, why are people not buying more of them? Market share wise,
if you understand
it's
why,
insane glaze.
What are these auto buyers who are not buying a Model 3 or a Model Y missing? And if you have ideas of things you could do to address that, maybe there is enormous value left on the table there. That's what I'm wondering these days.
Your cars?
The reality is that in the future, most people are not going to buy cars. So it's
What?
kind of what, one could sort of say, look, if you think one
Car
to
company CEO.
continue with your phone metaphor, you can remember the days of the flip phones when there was, 100 different flip phone designs. And I would, the mistake that manufacturers made was to try to make many different variants of a flip phone, which was a mistake. They should have made the iPhone. So, because obviously everyone's going to want a smartphone. But in the beginning of when the iPhone came out, I was like, wow, I can't believe these guys are not reacting as though this is death. But they didn't. They kept making variants of flip phones. Nokia, I think at one point was the most valuable company in the world, or close to it.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, yeah.
But they kept making flip phones.
Yeah. Blockbuster got beat by Netflix.
Trying to find another market niche.
100%. I mean, this is real, but
phone of a different style, maybe this different color or whatever it is. Nope, they just want a super intelligent phone that can do everything. Just one. So, I said this many years ago. In the future, in the not too distant future, buying a gasoline car that is not autonomous will be like riding a horse while using a flip phone. Some people still do it, but it's rare.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. The next question comes from Emmanuel Rosner at Wolf. Emmanuel, please unmute yourself.
Great. Thanks for taking my question. So Ilan, the public version of the FSD software still has a decent amount of, I guess, intermittent human interventions that are required. So what's still required for
nice
the
way
software,
of saying error
on your end to get to a level where it doesn't need to be supervised? And I'm asking that in the context of, obviously, the June launch being in the next couple of months. What still needs to happen?
Yeah, how are you going to fix that in 2 months?
And we are working on a number of items to improve the robustness. Yeah. I mean, we are aware of the interventions that are happening in the public builds, and that's why we are hardcore burning it down. And really just picking some initial launch city helps us focus on like solving all the issues that you'd face here. For example, like it's focusing on Austin, we're not like solving all the issues that customers in Boston or somewhere else.
Every call-in is a face. European Tesla
and
glazer.
Here, we just like have a big list of all the issues, just burn it down, and that's what the team is working on, along with other sort of like redundancy issues. For example, if one of the computers goes down right now in the customer fleet, it would like throw the red hands and ask you to take over, but we don't want that kind of situation. So you're solving both like the reliability issues of the autonomy software and also the reliability issues of the system software together for Austin.
Okay. The answer to the question of how you're going to get it ready in 2 months is that we're working on it and we're going to solve the reliability issues for Austin.
Unusual interventions.
Great.
So.
Okay.
And these are really very rare. Like as I was saying earlier, you have intervention every 10,000 miles. I mean, that's a lot of driving you got to do.
10,000 miles once a year per car.
Yeah, and some interventions
but the
is a serious
like, missing functionality.
Requires human driver
for
moment.
Handling emergency vehicles correctly, you don't need to consume audio as an input. But then the customer-facing versions don't have audio input, but the version that's going to be in Austin will have audio input and so on.
Okay, but would you have remote operators, for example?
I mean, every now and then, if a car gets stuck or something, someone will unblock it. But it's just.
And if you're a taxi, you're doing 30 to 60,000 miles a year.
More safety.
So that's 3 to 6 times a year.
Get stuck every now and then. We do have.
I wanted to confirm. Yeah, like if you're
a required
autonomous
for safe
taxi
operation. If anything, it's just required for more availability.
Anyway, it's only a couple months away, so you can just see it for yourself in a couple months in Austin.
Great. Our next question comes from Edison at Deutsche Bank.
Deutsche Bank. What do you got?
Edison, please unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you very much for the question. So I want to ask about the Optimus supply chain going forward. You mentioned, very fast ramp up. What do you envision that supply chain looking like? Is it going to require many more suppliers to be in the US now because of the tariffs? How does one kind of think about what needs to happen there?
The robot thing is so obviously a fucking pie in the sky. I don't even know why they entertain it. These questions are you can talk about self-driving because there's like a realistic chance they can get something there.
So some things
Optimus is such a,
as we've already talked about, which is that we've already taken
it's such a copium, dude. It's nowhere close.
We're more localized than any other manufacturer, and we have a lot of things underway that to increase the localization to reduce supply chain risk associated with geopolitical uncertainty.
Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah. Wanted to come back actually to the robotaxi then.
Okay.
Do you have a sense on how many cars or how big the scale will be initially and how that might ramp up? I know you're targeting, millions of vehicles in the second half kind of next year. But initially at launch, how many vehicles would be reasonable? And is it going to be as simple as if one goes to Austin, let's say in late June or July, you'll be able to request?
Yeah. We're still debating the exact number to start off on day one, but it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 vehicles on day one.
10?
We watch it carefully, then scale it up rapidly after that.
Day one!
So, we want to make sure that we're paying very close attention the first time this happens. But yeah, you'll be able to, end of June or July, just go to Austin and order a Tesla autonomous drive.
Great. The next question comes from George at Canaccord.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. It has to do with FSD pricing. Could we envision when you launch unsupervised FSD that there could be sort of a multi-tiered pricing approach to unsupervised versus supervised, similar to what you did with
analysts want to know how this is going to
versus
make
FSD
money.
in the past?
I like that they're asking this question because Tesla needs to make
this is
not only
something
launch
that
full
we've
self-driving,
been
but
thinking
make
about.
money
I mean,
off it to
just so
justify
you know,
anywhere close to
for
what they're
people who have been
currently
trying
valued.
FSD and who've been using FSD, they think even the current pricing is too cheap because for $99, you're basically getting a person show.
He said people using FSD think the current pricing is too cheap. No fucking consumers ever said it's too cheap. Nobody ever says it about a product.
Autonomous cars all the time. And
I wish I paid more. It's such a good deal.
Down the highway and you'll see people texting while driving, doing 80 miles an hour.
And putting the makeup on at the same time.
Yeah, putting on makeup, doing their hair with the mirror down, and texting.
Maybe Costco hot dog. People do give them credit. They go, you know what? I'm getting fucking a deal on this dog.
Eating lunch, you name it.
But I don't think for the $8,000
shaving,
Tesla FSD.
Anyway, but right now the car is very insistent that you pay attention to the road, which reduces the value somewhat because it's very rigorous about you paying attention to the road.
Yeah,
and we'll gradually lighten up on that with every few weeks or every month, we'll relax that a little bit, make it so you can be more and more able to do things you want to do and not have the car demand your rigid attention. So that value, it'll really be profound when you can basically do whatever you want, including sleep, and then that $99 is going to seem like the best
don't get me wrong,
man. In your life.
I'm a
and George, do you follow up?
I remember commuting to work.
My follow-up is about geographic expansion. Just maybe discuss additional markets. There's been some news around India recently that you could launch this year and next.
I'm just not trusting this.
So yeah, we've been working on getting into India. India is a very hot market. And especially the current, and I don't want to talk just about tariffs, but the current tariff structure with India is that any car which we send in is subject to 70% tariff. Also like a 30%, luxury tax on it. So, the same car which we're sending is like 100% more expensive than what it is. So that creates a lot of, anxiety. It's like, people feel, okay, they're paying too much for the car. And by the way, we're not getting the money. The local government is getting the money. And that's why we've been very careful trying to figure out when is the right time. Like I said, we are working on it. It would be a great market to enter because India has a big middle class, which we would want to tap in. And that is the market which we want to be in. But again, these kind of things create a little bit of tension, which we're trying to work around.
Great. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Adam Jonas at Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley, what do you got? Morgan Stanley.
Go ahead, Adam. We can't hear you, Adam. So maybe we'll put you back in the queue and we'll move to Colin Langan from Wells Fargo.
Morgan Stanley guy fell a fucking sleep. He fell asleep. Because you've been yammering.
Colin, please unmute yourself.
Oh, great. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Colin, what do you got?
Oh, great. You're still sticking with the vision-only approach. A lot of autonomous people still have a lot of concerns about sun glare, fog, and dust. Any color on how you anticipate on getting around those issues? Because my understanding, it kind of blinds the camera when you get glare and stuff.
Actually, it does not blind the camera. We use an approach which is direct photon count. So when you see a processed image, so the image that goes from the sort of photon counter, so the silicon photon counter, that goes through a digital signal processor or image signal processor. That's normally what happens, and then then the image that you see looks all washed out because if you point the camera at the sun, the post-processing of the photon counting washes things out. It actually adds.
The question was about camera-only self-driving versus camera plus radar plus
that
LiDAR.
We made some time ago was to go with direct photon counting.
Are you worried about
and bypass
the sun blinding you, dust, fog, etc.? And he's rambling about how
pretty
they
much
have
straight at the sun, and you can also see in what appears to be the blackest of night. And then, in fog we can see as well as people can. Probably better, but I'd say probably slightly better than people, than the average person anyway.
So the camera is able to see when there's direct glare on it.
Are you saying that under oath?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there were obviously media reports the other day that the affordable model was delayed. Doesn't sound like that's correct. Those reports also talked about it being more of a cheaper version of the Model Y. Any color on what we should expect? Is it a cheaper version of the Model Y, or is it actually going to be a design change with it?
So I think Lars already covered it in answering one of the say.com questions.
He did ignore the fog part of the question. He said the camera will be just as good as a human driver, which is what he's saying is like, we operate visually, the camera will operate visually. It's like, what do you want from us? But obviously being just as good as a human driver is not what you want with an AI driver, because humans are not good in fog. You want better. And again, LiDAR and radar's ability to navigate fog or any sort of visual disruption is incredible. I mean, it's like what you want to be able to fully trust it. Not only for yourself, but for other cars on the road if you're driving. And this idea that, well, it'll be as good as a human is a cop-out. I mean, it has to be better. Otherwise, I mean, there's already so many legal issues of who's at fault when a self-driving car kills someone or crashes. What if it hits somebody? Is the driver at fault? Is the car at fault? Is Tesla at fault? Who's showing up in court? And all of that is dangerous and liability and could lead to huge legal action against the company. And the best way to avoid it is to be as safe as possible. And especially because when they first decided not to use LiDAR and radar, they were very expensive. But they've gotten cheaper every year and will only continue to get cheaper. So this idea that they're going to just leave them out is, I think, short-sighted.
People time to adjust. Otherwise, in the quote, you said the system would break and bad things would happen. So are things breaking yet? And if the tariffs as announced remain in place, when would things start breaking?
Well, at the risk of stating the obvious, I'm one of many advisors to the president. I'm not the president. So, but I've made my opinion clear to the president, and and other people made their opinion clear to the president. He listens, he talks to many people, and he makes his decision. And I'm hopeful that the president will observe whether my predictions are more accurate than the predictions of others, and perhaps weigh my advice differently in the future.
Drama.
But
he got snubbed by Donnie
I'm an
T.
advocate of predictable tariff structures, and generally I'm an advocate for free trade and lower tariffs. Now one does need to take a look at where
he got cucked by Ron Vara.
Something predatory with tariffs, or is providing extreme support for, if a government is providing extreme financial support for a particular industry, then you have to do something to counteract that. But I think that's on a case-by-case basis strategically. The president is the elected representative of the people and is fully within his rights to do what he would like to do.
Great.
Okay, Elon, I respect that. Just as a follow-up, and thanks again. Between China and the United States,
okay, good question.
Who, in your opinion, is further ahead on the development of physical
you can't
AI,
answer that.
Specifically on humanoids and also drones? I'd be interested. And is it even close? And kind of how? Serious. And,
well, I think you know the answer on drones. A friend of mine, Naval, made this, posted on X. I reposted it. I think a prophetic statement, which is any country that cannot manufacture its own drones is doomed to be the vassal state of any country that can.
Did he just say that America
cannot currently manufacture
will be the
drones.
vassal state of China?
Let that sink in. Fortunately. China, I believe, manufactures about 70% of all drones. And if you look at the total supply chain, China is almost 100% of drones have a supply chain dependency on China. So China is in a very strong position.
He's right.
And here in America,
China's a restaurant.
We need
physician. These subtitles are so funny.
Shift more of our people and resources to manufacturing, because this is I have a lot of respect for China, because I think China is amazing, actually. But the United States does not have such a severe dependency on China for drones and be unable to make them unless China gives us the parts, which is currently the situation.
True.
With respect to humanoid robots, I don't think there's any company in any country that can match Tesla. Tesla and SpaceX
There's not even, you don't have one.
Number one. And then now I'm a little concerned that on the leaderboard, ranks 2 through 10 will be Chinese companies. But I'm confident that rank one will be Tesla.
Great. Well, I think that's unfortunately all the time we have for today.
Oh,
we appreciate all
really?
your questions and look
I
forward to
wanted
talking to you
4
next
more
quarter.
hours.
Thanks very much and goodbye.
Wow. Truly miserable. Well, I guess the code red is over, huh? That's a company that's got its shit together. That's a company that's got its shit together. I really, I can't, this is going to sound crazy after that, but I actually came into that call a little nervous about the declining car sales. But I left feeling absolutely reassured that the company has everything on lock. And is in an absolutely great spot. The future is bright. I left reassured that their leader is steering the ship very well. I guess the only new thing in that whole call, the only major takeaway, was his statement that he would be not stepping back, but like reducing his time on Doge starting in May, which could be a soft way of saying exit. You know what I'm saying? Where he'd be sort of an advisor, but he's not hands-on anymore. So him stepping back from Doge. Now, he should have said, I think, more concretely, but maybe he's afraid of, I think he wants to have a weasel out of it to where it's not like a mission of defeat. To where it sounds like he's understanding he has to step back from Doge to even begin to repair the damage to his company. Is what it seems like. So that's May. That's 1 month away. I mean, that's a week away, really, for May to begin. And then by the end of May, he's supposed to have stepped down or stepped back. That was probably the biggest new piece of information. Nothing about buying XAI, which was good. Battery pack was good. I mean, small but good. And then car stuff was the same old, like, don't worry that our sales are plummeting. Don't worry. We've got self-driving and we've got Optimus robots. And that's what he's been saying for over a year now. That's the big thing. Coming soon. That was to summarize what we saw today. That was the takeaway. Not very good. Not very good. I do think they'll have something to show in Austin in June. I mean, you hope. He was very specific, and it's only a month and a half away, so they better. I think they'll have something, but we'll see. People are mentioning the stock, bro. Listen, talking about stock movements on earnings day, especially for like a high variance, high beta stock like Tesla, is insane. There's no point. Like, stock is down 15% this month, and in after hours, it's now up to 249. So what? It's here. It's where it was on April 15th. It's not. You guys don't react so much to, this stuff is people are trying to price in the earnings, and the earnings happens. It's, you got to take a longer view on this. And the longer view is that investors are getting more and more spooked, with this supposedly high growth company that's not only not growing, it's shrinking. Again, seeing a 70% drop in profit is year over year is not good. Also, there's rumors going around. There's going to be a big tariff announcement tomorrow at 10 a.m. And a lot of stocks are pricing that in. I mean, I saw, against all odds, like Nike was spiking. Largely because people expect tariff announcements. Or a deal with Vietnam or something. You're saying it's people have some insider information possibly. So I trying to read day-to-day price movements on stocks is a futile gesture. You always end up making up a story that doesn't actually work. However, speaking of a long-term story in the stock market, by God, dude. Speaking of a long-term story, a consistent domination, by God. There's a clear number one here, 4.4% on a down year, up 4% when the Nasdaq's down 14, S&P's down 11. Come on, bro. That's consistent. Ludwig, he's doing all right. Someone said, "Holy shit! No wonder Ludwig is streaming daily." As if Ludwig is so devastated by the loss of $1,500 that he has to stream every day to try and make his money back. You're right. You're right, dude. He's broke and he's trying to make it fucking work. Should add Lud without Trump coin. Lud without Trump coin would be tied with Doug, basically. A little bit worse than Doug. He'd be above Stans, though. Minus 3K for charity and bros celebrating. Year of kindness, my ass. Well, to be fair, I steal from charity constantly. So it's like, you're asking me to get rid of a time-honored tradition. Every year I go to a charity and I yoink out of the collection box. So it's not like a difference of the year. One thing I'll do is like a fun little hobby of mine is I will write up a really professional looking fake invoice for like some like accounting services or something, and then just mail it to every charity in town. And hopefully one of them doesn't look too closely and just pays it. You know, they think it's some bill they have and they just pay it. And that way, like, I'm at scale stealing from a lot of charities. It's like a really cool, it's actually free money. Like the dad did from Google. Yeah, people do this for Google, but Google's like too nice of a company to do. I don't want to do it to Google. I'd rather do it to like Habitat for Humanity or something. Is Tesla's PE going to reach 200? I know it spiked because their earnings are down so much. It's as of right now, I think it's like 175. Something crazy. Anyway, it's bad. It spiked. What is it about rumors of tariff news? Again, nobody knows, but Scott Besant's going to give a presentation tomorrow at 10 a.m. about the global trade situation. And he said going into it that, listen, we'll go right now. The United States Treasury Secretary said that the China trade war is unsustainable. Bit of a back down. Oh, come on. You tell me I'm not logged into FT? Oh my God. I read it every oh, it's because it's a new browser. Here. Treasury Secretary says China trade war is unsustainable. You know, on the flip side, China is saying they will sustain this as long as necessary. They'll fight to the bitter end. But we, who initiated the trade war, are now saying it's unsustainable a few weeks in. Not a great bargaining position, and certainly not good for any other country watching who we were hoping to coerce into deals. You know, they are noticing that if they just wait, if they don't negotiate a deal and wait, the U.S. will back down on its own, fearing the pain that its own decisions have caused. Damn, gold at 3,500 a troy ounce. Bro, 1 ounce of gold buys 67.27. 52 barrels of oil. Holy fuck. 1 ounce of gold gets you 52 barrels of oil. Sheesh. Anyway, I guess we'll cover this tomorrow. Is this live at 10 a.m.? Is he doing a thing? Let's see. This is important. Scott Bessent, 10 a.m. Let's see. Hey, babe.
Hello, ding dong.
What's up?
What's going on?
Oh, I'm just talking with the chat. What's good?
Did you do the Elon thing already?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, so it's ogre. When are you gonna leave?
When my dad gets back.
He's here.
He's here?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Did you tell him the joke?
What joke? Oh, yeah. I want to tell him the joke. She got a joke for you because you guys said she didn't have a joke last time.
Okay.
And now she got a joke.
What do you call a man with no arms and no legs? Whatever his name is. She's like in a phone call. Wow, someone actually like said quadriplegic. That's kind of sad. I think it's from South Park. I think I got it from South Park. That joke.
Well,
I'm not super sure.
good source of jokes.
But like I
made us
remember it
laugh
because it
over
like
the
it makes me
years.
laugh. I think it's like when Jimmy's doing like his stand-up stuff. Like that's one of the jokes.
I liked your joke about the Italian not being able
Oh
to
yeah,
talk
like
because he couldn't use his hand.
like
That was a good
Google.
one.
Yeah, I mean I botched it, but it
I like
worked.
jokes where the Italians are the butt of the joke. That's always good.
Yeah. Oh. It's nothing.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess we are gonna. Well, I have a little bit of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just vibing. Okay. Elon's presentation was terrible.
I know. You don't have to know because the last one was so like beyond.
It was like as cringe as that.
It was like watching like a Nathan For You episode.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It was bad. And no real
I can't
answers
even,
as
like
to
it hurts
why.
my face. Like I just can't even. I'll ask you about it later. I'll just watch the YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, man. I'll be out there soon. I'm gonna go.
All right.
Do you want to know floss before you go, just so the Zoomers are happy?
But I have to like. I have to be activated. Like something has to make me excited. Like I don't just floss just to floss. Let's see if they say something fun.
You guys have any fun news?
Like the fish are cool. It's too fast. I can't catch up.
It's Spaghetti's birthday. Can you floss for his
Who's
birthday?
spaghetti?
He's a chatter.
Oh, God. That doesn't get me excited.
Red Master had fun in Portugal. School's almost over. Oh my
Okay.
God! I want to talk about student loans.
Okay, how about we collectively floss for all those things? Okay. Yeah.
Holy!
Oh, are you gonna do that right now? The student loan thing?
I was gonna talk about student loans. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye, babe.
Yep.
She hit that shit. Yeah, she hit that shit. You think I'm putting a ring on someone that can't floss with the best of them? We're trying to bridge the divide. Between Zoomers and who's divided? Zoomers and millennials are divided, okay? And the floss will heal it. All right, and Zoomers and Gen Alpha. Honestly, Zoomers should learn to floss. Older Zoomers. How's your 500K fart coin position doing? You think I only have 500K in fart coin? Farcoin is financial freedom. And it is, wow. Dude, it's fucking pretty good. Why is Fartcoin up 115% over the past month? Yeah, I made $1 million on Fartcoin. Dude, that is insane. Fartcoin moves in silence. About a year. I mean, it's up over the year. It's down from this from Fartcoin mania in January. We're not quite back there, but we're shockingly returning to it. That is insane. So Fartcoin, obviously a meme, plummets. And then after the global trade war and tariffs begin, Bitcoin drops, but Fartcoin, the stable reserve currency, starts rising. This is digital gold. That's incredible. That's incredible. Farts are recession proof. Shocking. Bro, I might think about actually trimming some exposure to gold maybe. This is an insane run when you really look at it. This is an insane run when you really look at it. That feels I might that's as unprecedented historically. But also what's happening is unprecedented historically. Lot to think about. Student loans. I want to talk about student loans. Well, okay. I'm going to talk about it, but only with you. I don't want you to make a clip about this, Adish, because I'm going to talk about it on the Lemonade stand. Really brief TLDR is that for the past 4 or 5 years, student loans have basically been, you don't got to pay them. Don't worry about it. Like, you got student loan balance, don't pay it. And during Biden, a lot of people were like, well, I'll just wait until he cancels them. Didn't happen. And then under Trump and the end of Biden, it was like, all right, look, you got to pay them, but if you don't pay them, there's no consequences. So don't worry about it. Now, all of the consequences are happening. All the consequences are happening in that people are getting massive credit report hits right now. And now, starting, I don't know, May 1st or whatever, they're going to start garnishing wages. They are resuming collections full stop. So if you have unpaid student loan debt, they will now start garnishing your wages. They will start finding ways of getting the money. It would be full-on collections. If you think, this is my larger thesis, so I don't want to go too into it, but I'm talking to you right now. If you think that will have no effect on the economy, on consumer sentiment, which is already bad, you're fucking crazy. People have gotten very used to not paying. Only 1/3 of people with student loan debt right now are still paying. Most people are ignoring it and just either they don't have the money or they don't want to, whatever. They're just not doing it. And so as they're trying to force it back out of them, the reaction is going to be negative, significantly. It's okay, the IRS / they can't collect. This is not even through the IRS. I mean, this is just straight up collections. The IRS is slashed for investigating rich people's taxes. Your ability to dodge not paying student loan debts is now at the end of the road. But I don't think they're prepared for the political backlash, especially among what is now the largest voting cohort. I think enough boomers have died, millennials. I think it's not fully understood the anger. What are they going to do? Somebody to El Salvador? Bring it. Well, I mean, it's funny you say that. It's not out of the realm. But no, they'll just garnish your wages. They're not going to throw you in jail or anything. They're just going to hurt your credit and garnish your wages, which turns out sucks ass. I see regular people on TikTok saying it's okay to cheat on taxes because the IRS is slashed. Can you send me some of these? This would be a funny video. People on TikTok are telling you to cheat on your taxes. Don't worry. Bro, if you don't have a tax lawyer, no, don't, no. Of course, for your fucking W-2 income, they know what you owe. It doesn't take a big, deep team. The hard part is, the reason IRS needs more staffing is because of all the complicated and creative ways that rich people used to get around taxes. By the way, just to put a bow on this discussion, they saved $2 billion in salaries by cutting all those IRS agents, and they lost, I think, 168 plus billion in revenue, expected revenue, in terms of tax collection. So what the fuck was the point? I know what the point is. To stop taxing rich people. That's it. There's no savings. There's no savings. It's not only literally the point of that defunding the IRS is to allow rich people to avoid taxes with impunity. There's nothing efficient about it, and there's nothing. Atrioc, I need to get my bread up so I can avoid taxes. Yeah, sure. Great. Relax, they know what they're doing. I fucking love it. You know what? Based. Relax, dude. They know what they're doing. Did you see Elon? I trust that guy. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to make a mistake. He's not going to dick me over. He's not going to get on ketamine and try to vastly change systems he doesn't even understand. That's good. It's all good, bro. We're good. Shit. Honest foreigner question. How are students actually expected to pay their loans? With a job. Dude, student loan isn't paid while you're a student, if you're wondering. You take out a loan to go to college, and then after you graduate, the idea is that the college has increased your earnings potential. So you're making more money because of the degree so you can pay off the loans. It's the idea. Has not worked out that way in practice, especially as we have enter a recessionary job environment. But that's the idea. And what's so unique about this situation is that the government has, since COVID, essentially normalized not paying. They just basically said you don't have to for years. And if people assume they don't have to pay for 4-5 years with no consequences, then they plan their budgets around that. They do not set aside a few $100 that they would have paid for student loans. They just spend it. Okay, people live paycheck to paycheck generally. So they can't suddenly accommodate the return of a $200, $300 expense every month. They just can't do that. Do you think there's a correlation between the rise of spiritually and inequality and poor economic times? Dude, I think I've seen this. I do feel like there's a growing number of people turning towards some form of spirituality, but I don't know if it's economic. I think it's loneliness or isolation or the dehumanizing aspect of algorithms. I definitely notice it. I notice it even among like people I consider really, I don't know, sharp, well-educated, whatever. I think overall human beings are kind of searching for something. I don't think it's this same organized religion they always had, although some people are going back to the church, I guess. But people are looking for some kind of, because I think they feel very, very deficient in that area. Maybe it's community. Yeah, maybe it's community. Maybe it's something like that. But I think that is it's an interesting point. I don't know if I have a deeper thought on it without more research, but I like that you said it because I've noticed the same thing. I've definitely felt the vibe shift. Like you getting into crystals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you guys know how I've been super into crystals lately, like different healing crystals. And I'm constantly buying like shungite and shit. That's sort of my like turn towards spirituality. Bring back the Greek gods. Dude, what if we brought back the Greek gods? Is that based? I do. Listen, I'm not religious. I have no problem if you're religious. Again, based on what I just said, some people are craving connection and spirituality and something to give them more purpose and meaning, and I got no problem with it. I'm just not personally religious. But if I was, I would want to be in a religion with like a fuck ton of gods. I think it's cool to have a god for like everything. I think having one god for everything is kind of boring. I would love to have like a god of the harvest and a god of gambling and a god of food and a god of pizza and a god of because then you can always feel like you're being blessed by some god. Like if I get a flat tire, then I'm like, the god of transportation hates me. But then I taste a tasty pizza and I'm like, oh, but the god of pizza really is smiling upon me today. And if I were to get a Twitch Prime right now, then I would know the god of generosity was smiling upon me. Does anyone have a Twitch Prime to support the god of patronage? Oh, thank you, Credit Stealer. Thank you, JSW68. Thank you, Splash Zone. Doing my part to get Atrioc on the same tax bracket as Jeff E.B. How many primes would I need to get in Jeff Bezos' tax bracket? If I make $3 a prime, no, it's for prime, it's half, right? So I make $249. $249 a prime. What's Jeff B's current wealth? Bezos' current wealth. $186 billion. Okay. 700. No, I need, okay, this is how many primes I need, guys. To match Jeff Bezos' wealth, not necessarily his tax bracket, but his wealth, I would need 74,698,795,180 primes. Can we get started? Okay? Can we get started? Okay, here's the problem. Oh, here's the fucking problem. Is that every time you prime to me, Jeff Bezos gets the other half of the prime. It makes Amazon wealthier. So he's increasing his. Actually, he's not. Actually, he's not. Primes are a loss, if you did not know. Primes are a loss for Twitch. And Amazon hates them. Amazon hates Prime. They want to get rid of it, but it's like it would be the death of Twitch almost. So, what do you mean what? Amazon hates Primes because Primes is just taking money and paying it out to Twitch streamers with no one paying anything in. It is a loss. It is a net loss. Loss for Amazon, not Twitch. It's a loss on Twitch's books. Amazon makes them calculate it that way. Why is it better for Amazon to keep Twitch at a loss than just let it die? It's very hard to create a media company that captures attention at scale in today's world. Very, very hard. And there's a lot of potential to use that attention for some benefit to a company. Twitch has not figured it out yet, but it would be crazy for Amazon to just throw it away. Last thing you want is to end up in a Vine situation where you buy a company that's really successful at getting attention, but you can't monetize it, so you shut it down, and then someone else figures it out later and you're fucked. Twitch is a loss leader for Amazon. Most things associated with Prime are loss leaders for Amazon Prime. The idea is to make Prime so overwhelmingly beneficial in a ton of different ways that you can't imagine life without it. It's like not a subscription, it's a tax that you have to pay. Similar to kind of what Netflix has tried to do, but that's like how they think about it. It's like Wetzel's Pretzels, right, Big Bit? In no way is it like Wetzel's Pretzels. However, I will say that tonight I will be eating 2 big Wetzel's Pretzels while cheering for the Lakers. That is my go-to crypto arena meal. Is I go to the Wetzel's Pretzels there, I order 1 cinnamon pretzel and 1 classic salted pretzel, and then I get a drink, and then I sit my white ass down and I cheer for LeBron and Luka Doncic while eating my pretzels, and I enjoy the shit out of my experience. Lakers ain't winning? We'll see. We'll see, little bro. We'll see. Take this clip and show it to me if they don't win, okay? Because I laugh at the idea. I laugh at the idea that they could ever fucking lose 2 in a row, okay? They will turn it around. Vegas disagrees? What are the odds? Dude. The Poly market still has Lakers winning the whole thing. Barely. Fucking 22% to 21%. Bro, relax is all I'm saying. Relax. Game 1 don't mean nothing to my GOAT. Sports betting is the best way to negotiate the IRS. You make so much money they can take as much as they want and I will still be rich. To negate? You're saying you don't care about taxes because sports betting is such a guaranteed cash geyser that they can take, quote, as much as they want and you'll still be rich. That's incredible. That's incredible because even Jeff Bezos, who has $180 billion and things like that, he moved to fucking Florida to avoid taxes. But you are making so much money that that's chump change to you. Lakers don't lose today. I just saw. All right. Well, okay. Just betting. Oh, dude. Someone said this. This is an interesting story. Maybe we can. This could be an outro to a clip, Ada, if you want to throw this in there, because I got it. This is my outro. There was a guy who realized that almost every single bet on Polymarket is kind of based on, something happening. And so he bet no on basically everything. He just bet no. Like on every political thing, he just bet no. And he ended up making $2 million in profit. He basically bet on nothing ever happens. Will Trump end Department of Education? No. Will he sign a national abortion ban? No. Will he pardon Hunter Biden? No. And like a lot of these, he was not even, it wasn't, the odds weren't in his favor, but he just farmed the easy money. This is his profile picture. Nothing ever happens. He just did a full-on nothing ever happens. Will Trump pardon Edward Snowden? Rome to Trump Powell. It's just really funny. He lost some of them, but in fact, the ones he lost were where he voted yes. The ones he lost was where he voted yes. I think right about here, he fucking stopped voting yes because he lost 4 in a row. He went all no. And he's up 2 million. That's crazy. All right, chat. I'm going to end. I'm going to eat. I'm going to go to the Lakers game. I'm going to chill with my dad. I'll be back tomorrow after recording the pod with something special. So goodbye. Good luck. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying Elon's. Oh, wait. That's fine. I'll show you tomorrow. Who should we raid? Who's live? We could raid Squeaks playing Strat. Stan's playing Blueprints. I never get to raid Stansy. I'm raiding Stans. But no spoilers. No being fucked up. Nothing. No nothing, okay? No spoilers, no backseating. Just be nice to my good friend Stansy. Goodbye!